John's home-based tradie business has outgrown his garage. With work starting to pick up, John wants to take on an apprentice, upgrade the work ute and move to an industrial shed. It was hard for John to get a loan because he has inconsistent income. John saw Toowoomba's Edge Lending, the business lending experts. Edge Lending was able to secure a loan to help grow his business by tapping into the equity in his home. Edge Lending Solutions, helping small businesses to grow.
Hi everybody, Scott from Edge Specialist Advice Network. Hope you're all well. Hey, today we've got another installment of What the Numbers Say, and we have a report from Visual Capitalist, and today is the top 50 global brands by jurisdiction, by national jurisdiction, but also who they are, and top 50 most valuable brands. So how do they determine the valuable brands? Okay, so let's look over here. They take the brand revenues, multiplied by brand strength, which could be a bit subjective. How strong is a brand? But they like going on familiarity. That would make sense. Price of the product, and demand impact. So how much would life change if that brand went away? And you multiply those two together, it gives the brand value. That's the calculation that they're doing here. So the world's 50 most valuable brands. Let's have a look. And who is leading? Apple. Okay, no surprises there. Apple's been a standout last decade or so. It's been crazy. And if you look at the top, the top 6 or 7 here, these blue ones are all US. These dark blue. And we've got that over here. If you want to look, US. Okay, so the US stock market is there's nothing else like it in the globe. It's the biggest. It's the most liquid. It's the one that everyone talks about. It's the one that everyone watches. So, and you can see that these large companies that are dominating the global brands come out of the US. So Microsoft last 20 years has been ridiculous. Google last 15 years, ridiculous. Amazon last 10 especially. But then you've got your Walmart, Facebook, and Nvidia. What do you got? Instagram, Home Depot, some of those big names. I said Walmart, Disney, Coke, AT&T, Costco. Huge companies, huge names. Let's have a look at what else we've got over here. So the light blue, South Korea. We've got Samsung and Hyundai. That's about it. That's all they've got in the top 50, which I think is quite small. Saudi Arabia actually makes a play because they've got Aramco, because they sell all the oil in the world pretty much. They've got one. France has one. Chanel. So Chanel seems to make the top 50, which is interesting in itself. Got a couple from Japan here, mostly vehicles, and the only one from UK is Shell. So the rest of these are Chinese brands. Obviously TikTok, we know that. Tencent, that owns Fortnite and a lot of gaming stuff. So look, guys, let's just have a look at this big section and how big these companies are. And they're all out of the US, they're all on the US Stock Exchange, most of it's on the NASDAQ. And you could understand then why, when economists look, hey, what's happening in the US stock market? Is there going to be something happening? That if these guys take a tumble, it really does affect the global top conglomerate of countries. When they take a bit of a hit, they all come down with it. Now, if you were an investor that had an exchange traded fund that said maybe you're investing in something a bit like someone from Beta Shares that says, look, top global 100 companies. Well, this is the top 50. Okay, and so there'll be another 50 under that. And you can see why those ETFs, in the good times, when everything in the world is just on an upward trend, it's an easy strategy to just park money in those and just ride it up, because you're going to have these biggest companies that stand the closest to the money printer. They have the government's ear. They don't make the biggest political donations. They pretty much install, government's policy realistically. They have a big, policy, and therefore they're always going to be the beneficiaries of good times. And so it's really easy to be an investor in those times in exchange traded fund with some of the biggest companies. You're going to get they're going to get the money first, and they've also got a little bit of control on government policy. So that's good when it's good. If we come into a period of global recession, or we come into a period of political turmoil, or we come into a period where globalization is starting to unpick like it is now, then holding some of those top ETFs are going to drag your portfolio down, okay? Because those are the things where a lot of market volatility is going to be. Yes, the small caps are going to get hurt too, but these things are going to have the wildest swings. They're going to have the biggest dumps the quickest, because when there's a global recession, you can see a lot of these and you go, well, geez, maybe I'm not going to buy the new iPhone because I just don't have any money. I'm going to hang on to my old one. Maybe I'm going to replace the glass face because it's broken or something. Or maybe I'm not going to order as much on Amazon. Maybe I'm not going to advertise on Google as much, or maybe I'm not going to pay for YouTube ads as much. I just can't afford it. The business can't afford it at this time. Maybe we're not going to upgrade to the next add-on for Microsoft. So you can see why these things are going to start dragging down. Facebook, I mean, Facebook is basically surveillance and advertising. So most of the money that Facebook gets is actually from government to spy on you. But if the ad revenue that businesses are paid to advertise on Facebook, if that falls away, no amount of government revenue is going to keep that stock propped up, no matter how much spying they do. You can see Tesla over here. Tesla's at number 36. That's interesting. And we look here at the biggest annual increase. Nvidia has doubled in their brand, what they call their brand value. Chanel has had a really good run too, and Walmart. Well, Starbucks is getting belted. Tesla's getting belted as well for political reasons. And so, just remembering, if you're one of those people that are out there destroying Tesla Tesla vehicles, or out there destroying Tesla dealerships, well, Musk only owns about 12.5%-13% of the company. The rest is owned by big institutions like JP Morgan, Fidelity, but pretty much all the pension funds. And so I could say that, the other 87% is probably in the people that are harming all the dealerships. That stock's sitting in their own portfolio, in their 401k or their self-directed IRA or their Canadian pension fund or their Singaporean pension fund or their Australian superannuation fund. There'll be a lot of Tesla stock because you're holding an exchange traded fund in the Nasdaq, and if you're going out there just destroying those stores, well, I guess in some way you're destroying a little bit of the shareholdings you have in your own portfolio. So how about this? If you're going to go out and destroy a Tesla factory or a Tesla dealership, take the time to sell the shares out of your superannuation fund first, don't you think? Wouldn't that be smarter? Convince the fund manager that you don't want to hold anything in the Nasdaq because that's probably how it's been held, and go back and do something else. It's pretty crazy. But that's not all we're here for, guys, at the moment. I just wanted to show you the correlation or the density of the top 50 companies by brand in the globe, and how many of them sit on in the US stock exchange, and how the big ones all sit on the Nasdaq. And that's why you hear everyone talking about the Nasdaq all the time, because when these guys go down, they do drag basically the stock environment globally down sometimes. Not everyone's always going to be outliers. Energy's been doing well while the Nasdaq, tech gets a hit, but everyone gets a little bit of a bloody nose. Even though these guys might lose an arm or a leg. So, all right, guys, look, I thought that was interesting just to refresh our memory and understand why that for the last 15 years, some investment advisors or some investors would look like legends just holding their money in an easy top 50 companies or top 100 companies in the globe exchange traded fund. And because those companies have so much political power, they get the money first. That is probably undoing. So if that's what you've been doing, if you've been doing this lazy strategy for investing, you might have to think twice, and you might have to alter somewhat. All right, that's enough from me, guys. Remember, life is a family sport. Give yours an edge. See ya.
Superannuation is every Australian's most important investment. The decisions you make now can have a large impact on when you can afford to retire and the lifestyle you'll enjoy when you do. There are so many companies to pick from for your super, but did you know that you can also manage it yourself? Edge Financial Services can help you take control of your super and plan for retirement with a self-managed super fund. There are many different ways for you to invest in your future. To find out more about investment strategies that will give you the edge in retirement, visit edge.net.au today.